Hello, welcome to my life on paper. I am Brianna, and welcome to May I Scraplift You, which I've been doing all month. Today we are scraplifting Shala Knowles. She is Book of Shala on Instagram and YouTube, I believe. And I'm also playing along with Off the Board with pineapple papers. And I took this pin from Rhonda RM613. I'll have that listed below as well. And I am doing a Disney layout in case you couldn't tell from the pin. I only have a couple more layouts to do of my Disney photos from 2023. So at the beginning, you would have seen that this paper, I am hiding something underneath. It is a Disney paper. I have a paper pad of thin papers, and they've got all sorts of different, like probably uh, Disney things from 10 years ago. I don't know. This is a paper pad from when the kids were doing 4-H and needed papers for, oh, there you can see it. Um, Phineas and Ferb for 4-H. They were making like scrapbooks and things for the fair. So um, I thought this was a great one. It matches, and I can cover those things up in the corner there. So perfect way to use those papers that are hard, maybe not so easy to use. I had already picked out those 3 different patterns for the strips. Shayla has the dark one going on the right. I chose to use a dark and a light one on the left and then the striped one on the right. This, I should not have glued the right strip down first. It gives me lots of fits, especially since I'm not getting those strips on the left there lined up. So I'm going to glue this right strip a couple times and then have issues and have to pull it back up. I do try to use that gridded Fiskars mat behind me for kind of eyeballing it, but if you can look, and the one on the left is crooked, right? So it moved on me essentially. Because if I could just move it up to where it's supposed to be, it'd all be straight. But here's me getting frustrated. Just to get that striped piece down straight. See there? All I had to do was move that left one up a little bit and it would have been straight. But instead I brought the black one down, so now they're both crooked. Such issues. Hey, I'm gonna glue them down before I figure out that they're crooked. Oh, so easy to see after the fact. Then, oh my gosh, look how crooked it is. So I get out my gridded ruler from close to my heart to fix the problem that I've created. I do like using these, and I think I've said this before, this gridded rulers better than the T-square ones, because the T-square ones, if you don't, this sounds weird, but of course, if you don't get it lined up right, it's not going to work. I just like working with it's how my mind works, I think. I like working with the gridded ones better. There we go. Now it's fixed. Now I can move on. Shayla has the stars in the background, and I remember this is a very recent photo from this month, or layout from this month, and she was getting frustrated on how the stenciling was going, which I think it looks great. I am not using stars. I'm going to use the XOXO instead. I believe it's Simple Stories. And I use black modeling paste, which I've bought, and I used it for the first time. Um, it is thick. I mean, it's very it's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it's just open and it's a thick consistency. So, um, make sure you wash those stencils off right away. I did. Um, but man, did I have it like in my sink. I had it all over the place. Yeah, it cleans up fine, but I was surprised how much it just, you know, got on my hands and everything. I don't know why. I work with mixed media. I don't mind getting messy. Um, it was, I guess, maybe, I don't know if it was the color more so, or maybe because it is black, it has more pigment in it, or what have you. So I knew I'm going to move it over, and I really should have washed the stencil because, as much as you think it's not getting on the back of the stencil, it is. So when I pull this up, and it's mixed media, so this does not bother me at all, but when I get the second bunch done and I pull up the stencil, you'll see there's more than I would have wanted, and there's just little bits from the back of the stencils in another spot over on the right hand side of the paper and as well as the stripes. Next, I glue those photos down, and then after that is what I always call the fun part of getting the embellishments down. So you can see I'm still trying to figure out where to put the photos, knowing that I've got Phineas and Ferb that want to peek out from underneath the photos. So, and I'm still looking at Shayla's layout to make sure I kind of stay true to that layout as well. So now I'm going to start working on the pin part of the layout. Shayla's got that little bit up in the right corner, which is very similar to what's going on in the pin from with the Disney, um, with the Mickey ears and that. So I have this cool punch that I got from Amazon, and it is dimensional, so it embosses those stars. So I always throw some foam adhesive underneath there to keep the dimension. And that is just some really old pattern paper that I have from my Disney collection. And that banner comes together very quickly. I just use scraps of paper. I have a Mickey punch, and then I use the stars, and I'll cut out the swirls on my silhouette. And it gives a nice bit of color up in that corner where Shayla is stuck to more of the black and white, which I always love a good monochromatic. But with doing Disney, you don't have to. You can go with any color you want. But I have a lot of stuff that it's that traditional yellow, red, and black, as well as a little bit of blue stuck in there. So those are the swirls I cut out of from my Cricut. And I don't think I put anything down as far as journaling, but this is going to go with a whole bunch of Disney layouts. There's going to be a lot of journaling space on other pages. And I said this before too, but my husband is the journaler in the family, and he's not afraid to either ask for like a scrap of paper to be a journal box or just write on the background itself. So I'll work on those couple clusters. This says making memories, and it's a nod to Shayla's layout where she has some words going along her banner there as well. And then I had to use the train. We were on the Thunder Mountain train at Disney, so that's what kind of a better layout could you use it on, honestly. Shayla had some circular elements there, so I wanted to make sure I used some circular elements. And then I got kind of that break in the mixed media and in the stenciling. So I used some balloons, which I thought were appropriate since, it is up in the air. I'm very literal in case you haven't learned that before. So I do change out a couple times, I think, which balloons I might be using. I found a little bit of a bigger set, so those are going to go up there. And then I think about getting balloons into each of the clusters. And I gotta tell you, it makes it into the cluster on the top, uh, but I don't get the balloons on the bottom. Is that partially because the balloons are in the sky and that's closer to the ground? Maybe. I think it was probably more so they just didn't seem to fit in that space down there. So, I do try. I have plenty of balloons that I could have used. I end up bringing another Mickey. So now I've got balloons in two of my clusters and Mickey heads in two of my clusters, and I am happy with the way this all turns out. I use my ATG adhesive to get the Mickey ears glued down. I find that little chipboard magic, and I think a nice little another little wordy bit looks good on there, and it fits right in there, so that's like perfect. I don't make it closed off in case that makes sense. Like there is a gully through there, so I don't have trap space. I cover up my photos, and then I just get out my black soot and give some splatters. I forgot any kind of mixed meat on the bottom, so I get those splatters on the bottom and the top. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a fabulous day, and please come back and see me again soon.